ice water, based on the algorithms, it's able to not include those measurements on there. Scott, do you know more about that? I know that it's algorithm-based. If the Verily people here, they can probably explain it to you better. But yeah, and I think it was also able to sense when it's not on, for example, losing a patch in the pool, those were not recorded. It knows when you have it on your body. Sorry, I keep using the pool thing. I'm sorry. These are great questions. So, the verdict, so only 5 people dropped out. And truth be told, only 1 really was related to the device itself and causing skin irritation, when you think about it. The rest was related to technical issues and ability to pair this phone with the device. 1 was lost, and I think 1 was for an unknown reason, but I think that's pretty good. We were worried about the skin irritation thing. And we knew it would happen. We see it all the time in medicine, and people in the hospital breaking out after getting some adhesive, the EKG pad things going on you and breaking out from that. But we concluded that there was a high acceptability among the residents, you guys. There was a high percentage of residents that were able to apply and reapply the patch independently. The temperature device, took more measurements, 6 million versus 2,000. Provided greater number of days with temperature measurements compared to the manual ones. And, there was less compliance with the manual temperature checks. Staff only doing it 35% of the time, and also the great variability of those temperatures doing it manually as well, as you saw. And I think this, and I highlighted this because most importantly, this device identified fever in 4 participants who did not have an elevated temperature check, which I think is really neat. And so in conclusion, the study, we demonstrated the feasibility and acceptability of a continuous temperature monitoring device in independent living and catered and enhanced living. And it has the potential for earlier detection of fever, infection, in congregate living facility like this. It did have, several limitations. It was a small study. We only had 35 participants. It mainly included people from independent living. There was just 2 from enhanced care. And I wasn't able to recruit anyone from the Greystone building. Of course, one of the requirements is needing to have a smartphone as well. Not everybody has a smartphone. I remember having folks that were interested in participating but couldn't because they had the flip phone. And just because you had a smartphone doesn't mean it worked, right? You can have these technical issues, pairing issues, and so forth with the device. There's actually someone over at Greystone who was interested, and when we tried to get them plugged in, they were using an older version of the iOS. It was 10 point something, and the app required version, whatever it is, guys, be after that. And they did not want to update their system because they're so used to that, using that operating system. And having a change would have caused a big disturbance, and we don't want to do that. I think ideally, the people that would really benefit, well, of course everyone will, but especially the frail, the folks who aren't able to mount that febrile response, of course, probably they would not be able to, even if you gave them a smartphone, they may, because of cognitive impairment, they may not be able to monitor that. I think my opinion, I think they need to come out with a device that connects to a central monitoring system for the nursing staff to look at, kind of like in the hospital. Have you guys seen the vitals? They're up there at the nurse's station, bed, whatever, and you go and you kind of see the lines, the trends. Having something like that over here and in Greystone. And you guys are pros. You guys can just use your iPhones. and androids. But yeah, I think it was fascinating. Did you guys have any other questions?
I was kind of impressed with the technology because mine did fall off in the pool about 8 o'clock, and at 2 o'clock I came up to another class, and it was in the bottom of the pool, and I just dried it out, and it started working again. So that the technology is great.
Oh yeah, it's waterproof. Yeah, it's pretty neat. I think that one of the, should have mentioned it with the nurses, was that working as hard as they do, they tended to sweat a lot, and they had to replace that patch maybe every 2 days. But with all that sweat, yeah, the patch kept working.
So you can't shower.
Oh yeah. It's waterproof. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely waterproof. Yeah. I guess it was at the bottom of the pool, and she went and got it. And
It's different.
sweat. Yeah.
What are you going to do next?
That's a great question. And that's why Scott Lang is here. Scott, if you want to introduce yourself, and he was going to tell you a little bit about future projects.
Sure, just take a couple minutes. Thank you all. Good to see so many of you again. Glad to come out. Oh.
I have a question.
Sure.
We have these 24-hour temperature monitors. We arbitrarily decide this is supposed to be. Doesn't matter if a person is 60-year-old, 70-year-old, 80-year-old.
Yeah.
They might be very different for you to define.
Absolutely, and that's right. Exactly, and that's the thing when we're talking about putting a threshold, as was based on the CDC guidelines of 100.4, and that's why for this study, yes, we did point out the temperature of 100.4. However, you can also see the trends. And where's my? Here it is. I'm just going to go back. Here it is. So you can measure the trends in real life going up to that.
Is that the individual type or variability?
Right. So individual. I'm sorry. What's individual type? So the temperature is recording. The device is recording it every 30 seconds from your body. So every 30 seconds, that's a point right there. Right. And that's the key is looking at trends instead of, like you say, a threshold. I don't think you would be able to find. I'm not sure if 1 or 2 temperature checks a day, as they're doing next door, would be enough to catch a fever. It's more likely if you're looking at a trend as you move on continuously, which this technology is able to do. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, really this technology is kind of a good, better, best. Oh, sure. Kind of a good, better, best. Taking temperature 2-3 times a day is a great idea, great help. But to be able to do it continuously, now you're able to see, more accurately in between when you would normally do checks. But again, thank you so much for those who participated. And to jump to next steps, we have submitted a grant to enlarge this study. It could be, to more participants, more kinds of facilities, and I don't even know if it's officially been submitted yet, but I know it's being written. And so, and part of that is going to be, to defend that will be these results, to say, hey, this is feasible, and that's a big key. This wasn't to say, oh, it's important that we detect temperature spikes and whatnot. The first goal of this is just, is it feasible? Are people, do they have technology? Can we connect? And I'm telling you, the Verily folks, which again, Verily is the healthcare arm of the Google company. It's a part of that family company, and they were so pleasantly not surprised, but just pleased that the residents did such a great job. That you guys were like, no problem, it's on my phone, it syncs, it's whatever. And apologies, some of you probably got tired of hearing from me. What do you mean isn't connecting? And it isn't always a user error. Sometimes it's the device, it's the cloud, it's the interaction, whatnot. And that was also, it was good that the problems came up. I know it can be a pain when the problems come up, but that's what Verily wanted to find out. Where are the holes? Where are the snags? So it was helpful for that. Some of those lower percentages with the compliance with the manual checks, as those of you who are part of it, we didn't start that till partway through. So that's part of why those numbers are lower. Because frankly, we said, oh, they're taking, when you're coming and going, taking temperatures. But as we reviewed those logs, it just, it's hit or miss where someone comes in, if someone so we realized we're not getting consistency on that. And so that's why we introduced about halfway through, let us give you some more thermometers, going through that. And that was another helpful part of the study, because Verily has found with other studies, even those devices, they vary, how accurate they are, and ideally, something, and Zeke, you confirm this, but if it's a temperature taken inside your mouth there, it should be more accurate than even on your skin, but it depends on how, is it staying in long enough, is it being moved, etc. So all that data helps. Let's see. Yeah, I think Zeke hit all the other items I was going to address as well. And then just to note, Eric, who you saw, the nice bald guy, today's his birthday, and Jeff, of course, you guys all know Jeff. They both said to me, please tell the folks we'd love to be out there. Eric was at a conference he had to attend. Jeff is always triple booked all through his days and gets out here when he can, but very appreciative. We just had a member meeting of the Center for Healthcare Innovation, which this came out of, which I work for. We had a member meeting just yesterday, and we're able to talk about this project and others. So please know your efforts are helping what the center is doing, what healthcare is trying to do, and we look forward to trying to be able to expand this further. Thank you.
More to come.
Okay. You want to introduce next week's program?
Yeah, real quickly, next week we are privileged to have Dr. Christina Huggenschmidt from Wake Forest, and Christina is director of the memory counseling program there. And if some of you here had the pleasure of working with Ed Shaw, Dr. Shaw, well, Christina took over his position. Ed Shaw really got the program started there, probably 7 years ago or more, and then he retired, and now Christina is director of the program. So I think you'll find it very informative. Thank you.
We are through. Thank you.